The idea is that when you are alone, you are not really alone as the basis of idea itself. The feeling of being alone is perhaps the most widely accepted bad thing. It is in this case the idea of truth, or that things have an end, or a work. The idea itself then is a form of manipulation. It connects a universal, which itself is itself, to itself. Bad equals alone, equals universal, equals uncontrollable, equals truth, end, work, equals intention, word, universal law, equals God. Then it is to say that being alone is not necessarily a bad thing, though as a moment it contains the idea of truth, which is upsetting because it tells something that things have changed through manipulation of some sort, and being alone at that time is not necessarily good. It is, however, accepted more widely because without the idea yourself, it is that there is work, truth, and end outside of your control. That is then to say that from the perspective of something, with the idea itself, these things represent a separation of the self. So you are not really alone when being alone isn't necessarily a bad thing. What is then the idea that work, truth, ends are a universal law, what makes action from a godlike loneliness hold intent, chance as word for advantage? What is itself the true self as it originates universally? Again, this idea is more widely accepted as a bad thing because the basis for then not really being alone is that the idea isn't itself. The more then that the idea is itself, this mechanism reverses to say that with yourself you are never really alone, as in knowing, word, work, intention are with you. So is truth, so is God. The object of this mechanism is to utilize the mechanics of this circuit to interact with the world, as the world is at a certain point in the mechanism, or you are. It is therefore then a skill to apply types and amounts of each point in the circuit to elaborate on it and generate power with retention of perspective and wise application for the position of the self. It is then smart thinking to think along these lines and be able to make connections and draw patterns that result in the same pattern, including the position of each important idea as to whether it thinks being alone is bad, how alone, and how would you achieve the loneliness that you would want either way, with how work, word, intention, truth are viewed in the mechanism itself. I don't know, maybe you think perfect community is God. What does that mean here for each person and the community? Maybe that makes a great story or image. But how will you produce that image here? Does it play on being able to make connections across the entirety of the circuit, or through case-by-case application of each term for the most of each term, with the most manipulative connection being the most complex arrangement of this circuit? And when you feel it's off, what then does control say in this same matter for this same manner? You are now oriented. You have now received your basic orientation. Begin upload.